good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. A time of your choosing. Thanks for watching. However, this next installment is DC Bikin Volume 2. This time, I looked at the more utilitarian routes and got up to Lock 5 on the C&O. DC fascinates me for the following reason, and that is, it sits on the cusp of one of the more interesting trails in the country, the C&O. Look up the history. Towing barges with donkeys and horses. Anyway, locks and dams, dams and locks. Hope you enjoy.
The purpose of this trip to DC was a little guest instructing, and so I decided to take a swipe at doing this with my bike as much as I could throughout the week. So what you're seeing here is the everyday ride into the work environment. What's interesting, or semi-interesting, is the fact that the footage is taken over the course of 4 days, and one day in particular, it was wet. This particular stretch on the way into work is called the 4 Mile Run, and it's a creek that runs up quite a ways, 4 miles, from the Potomac. Interestingly enough, you can see the shoreline exposed just a little bit, so we're not quite there, or we're coming down. The ducks were just hanging out. Thought you'd enjoy it. This next segment is a little off the beaten path. I wanted to see how much infrastructure there was in DC. So on the way to Lock 5, I took as many of the normal streets as I possibly could to get over there, and strangely enough, every piece of it had some kind of bicycle infrastructure. Very grateful for it, and nobody even bothered me. This next stretch is exactly what I came to DC for, was take a closer look at the C&O Canal. This particular vista is opening up just as I get across the river. On the Chains Bridge, I will turn left and go up to Lock 5. Just a beautiful area, and it's officially C&O. This is a very interesting area of Lock 5, and I can't exactly explain why, other than you can see multiple locks. You saw the one I first pedaled up, and you saw this lock as well as the doors letting the boat down and into the lower portion of the canal.
C&O Lock 5, ladies and gentlemen. We'll detour with the old construction. This thing is amazing. The bridges even have the carriage rails, although I think it's more of a car rail considering the width. How about them apples?
This area follows the large rocked concrete area that I just rode down and into this immediate area, and I'm standing on a concrete viewpoint looking back at the Change Bridge. Also note the houses that are sitting on top. They're also very interesting to see as well. As I was headed back into D.C., I came across the Abner Cloud House and Mill. It's built in 1801, and it said it was one of the first houses on the canal at this point, but I did not find any more historical information other than it was put together with the help of some Italian stonemason. Coming back into Georgetown and D.C. proper, I came across this fountain with kids playing in it on a very hot day, as well as enjoying the bicycle infrastructure under the viaduct at Georgetown. The real mile marker zero of C&O is hidden behind the boathouse across from the marina. To get there, you have to go behind the boathouse and then snake around until you find this point. I'd heard it was hidden and finally found it. Last but not least, I tried this utilitarian ride, which would have completed the circle had I joined the morning ride with the afternoon ride. This one in particular took me next to highways, and as well as using the highways, not the actual surface level highways, but rather right next to it. And so the terrain was up and down and up and down, and it was hard and it was easy. And so very interesting attempt to try to use the corridors around the dead space along the highways.